Hello everyone, and welcome back. This is Big Blast 99 again, and you may notice we're back in home. And that's because when doing the Dexys overview video the other day, I was like, man, I'd like to talk more about my shinies. So I went through all of my games and gathered up, I believe, every single one of my shinies that I've gotten. I also booted up some event shinies. They're still old event shinies that are still lurking around somewhere in old games, but like every shiny I encountered myself, I hunted for, I got randomly, should be here. And it's like, let's just do a little story time. Let's talk about where all of them came from, just so I can reminisce of my old journeys with these fellas. So yeah, let's get started with it. They are a bit organized. It makes sense to me. There is a few gaps in the boxes, but that's just to help differentiate the different sets of shinies, because different ones have different meanings. You'll see as we go along. All right. So starting off in this first box here, this is mostly shiny. Actually, I think these are all shinies from before Switch games. I think this is every shiny. I don't think non-Switch shinies, besides the event ones, are in the other boxes. But this is what we got to start. Oh, let's start with Staraptor. Check summary. All right, so this Staraptor is actually the very first shiny I ever caught. It was a Staravia in Mr. Banklot's garden in Pokemon Platinum, I believe. So this guy's been around the block. The dates on the Gen 4 shinies are obviously whack because Pokemon has a real hard on for not keeping proper catch dates when transferring between generations. So it is what it is. Anyways, so here's our Staraptor. Really funny, it's caught in a quick ball given the recent discourse over quick ball shinies, but whatever. I was a kid when I caught this. So yeah, this is the first shiny I caught. Not the first shiny I found, however. The first shiny I found was a Geodude in Pokemon Pearl. I don't remember exactly where, because this was years and years ago. So I was just playing the game, doing what I do in Pokemon, which is just run around, messing around. I was a kid. And I come across a yellow Geodude. And yellow is my favorite color, so I was like, oh, I gotta catch this yellow Geodude. I don't know what's up with this yellow Geodude. I didn't know what shinies were. And so it's like, I gotta catch it. The Geodude self-destructed, so I didn't get to catch my first shiny, which is kind of unfortunate, but I do get to tell this fun little story. Anyways, yeah, that's my first shiny. The first shiny was a fail, but whatever. You win some, you lose some. So after Staraptor, my next shiny was Goldie the Noctowl. You may notice with a lot of the older ones, they have childish names. Again, was a child. So Goldie here was a shiny Hoot Hoot I found in HeartGold. But not just any kind of shiny Hoot Hoot. I started up a HeartGold Nuzlocke. And I turned the clock to night so I could catch Hoot Hoot because I like Hoot Hoot. I like owls. So the owl Pokemon are quite fond to me. And so I was thinking when starting up I was like, you know what? Ash had a shiny Noctowl in Johto. It'd be cool to have one. So, anyways, I pick my starter. I go and I catch a Hoot Hoot on the first route, moving along, and then it's like you go back to Professor Elm's when it's like, hey, whatever, and then so you're getting out and it's like ready to like actually start progressing. And I run into the grass and I run across a shiny Hoot Hoot. My starter and like my other Hoot Hoot are pretty up there in levels at this point, so I couldn't really weaken it. But I had 4 Pokeballs, so I had to lob all 4 Pokeballs, and thankfully caught it on my last Pokeball. So I used this knocked out on my team. Like even when I ended up failing the Nuzlocke, but I ended up just playing through the rest of the game with the Pokemon I had, and it was just like it was fun. I beat the game with a shiny Noctowl, and yeah, um, it's just one of those things. It's like my first time getting a playthrough shiny. Like I got to use a shiny on a team, and it's not just something I caught. And I was like, oh, cool. And then shove it in a box later. But yeah, he holds a very special part in my heart, and I'm really hoping he gets put into the Scarlet Violet DLC because I want to see Noctowl with those upgraded textures. Oh, I want it so bad. Like the only thing on Switch is Sword and Shield and BDSP so far, and they still use like the home style modeled texture shit. I want the updates. I want to see this boy in full glorious, nice, rich updatedness. Anyways, that's enough of me talking about my shiny Noctowl. Up next is Red Serpent. This is just the HeartGold Soul Silver Red Gyarados. It's from the same playthrough as the shiny Noctowl because I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's do a double shiny team, even though one's a freebie. But you know, it works. You're playing through Johto, you're grabbing the Red Gyarados anyways, so why the fuck not? Oh wow, I'm swearing a lot. Anyways, moving on. So those were all my Gen 4 shinies. Moving on to Gen 5, this is the Black Tower Reward Gibble from Black 2. The reason I went with Gibble over Dratini is because, despite getting the games at the same time, I never finished White 2 until last year. I played Black and White so much that when it came to Black 2 and White 2, since the middle two quarters are pretty much the same between 1 and 2, I was pretty burnt out, so I just never really made it through. And so I decided to go with Gibble here. And it's not really impressive. I never really counted much as a shiny. Basically, in Gen 6, he just sat in my Mega Evolution box where I just had a Pokemon with each of the Mega Stones, so I could just, like, if I ever wanted to Mega Evolve a Pokemon, this one was here. So every time I Mega Evolve, I got the nice pink shiny Garchomp. But, yeah, I just moved them up. So, like, a lot of these, especially in this box, I moved up for this video. I had them resting in, like, Gen 6 and 7. And it was kind of very, very bittersweet moving them up. Anyways, next up is Pandora, my shiny Absol. This Absol has the honor of being the very first Pokemon I ever shiny hunted for. I hatched it in very minimal eggs. I can't remember if I was doing proper Masuda or not, but I know I definitely didn't have the shiny charm when I did it. But or maybe I had the shiny charm and not Masuda. I think I had one or the other, but not both. So I wasn't doing optimal, but I got it, like, I want to say under 50 eggs. I get pretty good luck when Masuda method hunting. To, you know, kind of makes up for all the bad luck I get from my Arceus hunt going on right now. Anyway, so yeah, this was just the first shiny. It's like I wanted a shiny Absol for some reason. I don't know exactly why, but I decided on it, and here it is. Next up is Power Flower, my Vileplume. This is from the Friend Safari in X and Y. What happened was, so I had a friend, and he was like, hey, in your Friend Safari, I caught a shiny. And I was like, oh, cool. And then I ended up finding this shiny in his Friend Safari. So it's like a cool little link between the two. And Power Flower, the name. It is kind of Power Flowered color. I think I caught this as a Gloom. Just throwing that out there. But the reason it's Power Flower is that as a kid, I did Pokemon Red and Blue Let's Plays on YouTube, and I had a Vileplume named Power F because I accidentally pressed Enter instead of being able to fully put in Flower first. So this is just a name, like a little nod to an old like playthrough of mine, a little part of my like YouTube history, kind of. But anyways, next up is a little section. These are my chain fishing shinies. So this is Dragalge was my first one. I remember I was working on it in the morning before class back in high school. And I remember like the bell ringing and it's like, all right, I got to get to class. And like this thing popped as I was sitting down. So I think I caught this during like attendance pretty much in geography class. I was going to name it Violet, but Gen 6 name sensor does not like the name Violet. So that wasn't allowed. Up next is Love Disc. It's just a Love Disc. It's what I got. You know, I fished them up. You'll notice like their catch dates. Same day. Next up, we have Poliwrath. I believe this was caught as a Poliwhirl, and I chose to make it a Poliwrath because I love Poliwrath. One of my old school favorites for Pokemon. Again, just chain fishing. And then Magikarp. I actually caught 2 shiny Magikarp from chain fishing. I gave one to a friend because I was like, I don't need 2, and like Red Gyarados is everywhere. Keeping it as a Magikarp is where the fun is. And this is actually kind of used as a meme for doing some competitive shit when I was doing like free-for-alls during like lunch at school. This Magikarp almost knocked out a Kyogre in a free-for-all. But the trainer with the Kyogre decided to quit out of the battle. So I didn't actually get the honor, but I give it like honorary defeated Kyogre status. All right. Next up, we have Special 2. These are my shinies from doing Eevee training, just with horde battles. Whismur. Whismur's just the classic, like everyone gets a Whismur, because Whismur is such a good Eevee training Pokemon, especially in hordes. But Weepin' Bell, I caught this one in Y, and I almost incinerated it just because I was using Talonflame with the Incinerate, which I think is the one that does all 5. And I almost pressed Incinerate, and then I caught it out of the corner of my eye. I was like, wait, that one looks different. So I almost completely nuked this shiny, but I didn't, and he's here. And he's just kind of been chilling. And then next up, we got Trubbish. Trubbish is special. I got it. This is a Dex Nav shiny. I didn't shiny hunt it. I was actually hunting for hidden ability and egg moves for making a competitive Garbodor. And this guy just kind of showed up along the way. I was like, yeah, I'll catch it. I mean, why wouldn't I? And so I never did much with it, but it was just funny that I wasn't looking for it. And I ended up getting the shiny trash. But, you know, whatever floats our boat, I guess. And now we're on to the next section. This is the Pokemon that are shiny hatches from doing comp breeding. So Skarmory, this was from my very first competitive team I actually properly set out. And it's 4 perfect IVs, I believe. And it was kind of those kind of things where it's like, I don't care if it's not exactly perfect. I'm just going to keep it because it's shiny. I have a competitive shiny now. That's super cool. And I won a lot of battles with this guy. This was a hard one to move up because I abandoned the rest of the competitive team. And it's like, that was my core 6. Those were like what really got me through competitive for a while there. But I don't play competitive much anymore. They all were sitting in my Gen 7 game, not getting used. And it's like, I can move up Steelbird. Steelbird, I had a phase where it's just like playing this game, seeing Skarmory. It's like, I just like sing Blackbird in my head, but replace black with steel. So that's the origin for Steelbird there. Next up is Big Ben. Same situation as Skarmory. Only 4 perfect IVs, but it's like breeding a competitive shiny. Competitive enough. Let's work. It works. You may notice the years difference. So after competitive moved to Gen 7, I was still breeding in Oras because the breeding in Omega, like the resort area at the end of the game, was just so good. I liked it so much. So I was like, yeah, I'll just breed here and boot them up unless I have to breed them in Gen 7. But yeah, I never ended up using them just because I really fell out of competitive once like Switch came around and all that. But he's one I've got. And it's just cool. He's like, I think he's probably EV trained and everything. So next up is Chimchar. Chimchar is a situation where was not like enough to be able to use as a competitive fill-in. Like he came along the way, but didn't have like hidden ability, didn't have the proper IVs, I believe. And it's like, this isn't enough for me to be like, yeah, let's just use it like the other 2 are. But, you know, free shiny, so he's just chilling here. All right, next up is Rosie, my Mudsdale. So, 11/18/2016. When did Sun and Moon release? I should have looked this up beforehand. Okay, so that is release date. That is release date of Sun and Moon. I'm playing through. I get to the first area where you can encounter Mudbray. I run into a shiny Mudbray. And I'm astounded. It's like, oh my god, I got a shiny of a new Pokemon in the new game. And it's like, I can't remember if I saw the original first. Like, I went into Sun and Moon as blind as possible. It's possible my first time seeing Mudbray, I know my first time seeing Mudsdale was the shiny. Like, normal Mudsdale looks weird to me because I'm so used to seeing the shiny. Anyway, so like, I got this. And it's like, all right, that's cool. I'm going to put it on my team. Unfortunately, it doesn't have stamina. 15, like not even 15 minutes later, I run into a second shiny Mudbray. Also not stamina, but within 15 minutes, I found 2 shiny Mudbrays. And I was talking to a friend, and like, I was like, I just found another shiny Mudbray. And they're like, I don't think Harley knows what a Mudbray looks like. He must be getting it confused. Yeah, no, so both of these, launch day, I found 2 shiny Mudbray within 15 minutes. That's just, it's, again, like, these are the kind of stories I really want to immortalize. I've said them over the years throughout different kind of videos and streams I've done, but I think it's just nice to have a proper concrete collection of these stories. Because, like, I don't have recordings of stuff back then, and it's just nice to talk about it. All right, next up we got Event Shiny Giratina. Now, this isn't in the event box because this Giratina has a very special part in my heart. This is the Giratina I used to solo the Kalos Elite Four countless times to fill in the national decks in Pokemon Y. The moveset was put out perfectly that I could solo the entire Elite Four without having to heal the Scaratina at all, like no PP, no HP or anything. And I would just have 5 like low level Pokemon with lucky eggs slapped on them and just doing the Elite Four over and over again till it's they're evolving. I'm filling in the decks. I did the Elite Four so many times that like if they didn't have a special section to show you your first time beating the Elite Four, I wouldn't know exactly what team I used. That's a lie. I kept my team in a special box, but like because of the separate section is the only way I can view the Hall of Fame entry for my original entry, because I've beaten the game so many times it's deleted 2 through whatever how many at this point. So this guy is just really really big on destroying Elite Fours, and so it has a special place in my heart, even though it is an event shiny. It helped me out in a lot in my very first time completing a national dex, completing a Pokedex at all ever actually, and so I keep it a bit separate. It's like I have an untouched shiny Garatina from the same event, because I remember I wanted to make sure I got a few just in case there was a thing in Gen 6, like there was for like Gen 5 having something to interact with the Gen 4 shiny Beast event. So I wanted to make sure to get these just in case, but there wasn't anything. But I did get a really good Pokemon for helping complete my decks. And a little bit of spoiler here, moving on. We have Scorpio, Nuzleaf, Red Spark, and Yeti. These are all Ultra Wormhole shinies, all caught on the same day. This was me looking for Palkia, because I wanted to try shiny hunting Palkia. And I got like a few hundred resets in Palkia. I never ended up catching it, getting it shiny. I gave up on it because I had to go do something else, and so I had to left it and go back for it. But like now that Dynamax Adventure is a thing, I'll probably just shiny hunt it in that. But these are just the shinies I found along the way. I think that's all. I lucked out not getting any duplicates, but whatever. It's just these ones are ones that they just kind of feel like freebie shinies. It's like, yeah, they're shinies, but like they're increased odds and whatever. It's like I wasn't hunting for them. I don't super care. But that is my pre-Gen 8 shinies. Well, not counting Let's Go. All right. Now we're on to the next box. These are starting with Switch shinies. All right. This here is Vanillux. I caught this in Shield. I was looking around. It's for Ice Q. I think Ice Q is the Shield exclusive. I'm looking for Ice Q, and this guy just popped up. And this was my first Gen 8 shiny. So it's like, all right. It's just funny. It's my first shiny was Vanillux, or Vanillish, whatever one this is. But yeah, I was looking for Ice Q, got surprised by this guy, and it's like, wow, this is not that great of a shiny, but shiny's a shiny. So that one's full odds, yeah, because that would have been without charm. So random full odds shiny, which is nice. Next up, we got Grookey. This was my first hunt in Gen 8. I did a Masuda method hunt for shiny Grookey here. I got it in 19 eggs. The clip is still up on my Twitch channel, actually, of popping off from getting it. And so, I don't know, it's fun. I think I started hunting for like Score Bunny. I don't think I ever finished that hunt. I think Score Bunny may be sitting in one of the daycares. I'm not too sure, but yeah, 19 eggs. Like again, I get pretty lucky with the Masuda hunting. I never really evolved them or anything. I was like, yeah, I got the shiny Grookey. I don't know what I'm going to do with him, but he's here. This is a Bulbasaur. I touched on him in the Dex's video, where it's just like originally before BBSP came out, I had like gens 1 through 4 filled in with whatever you can get from Sword and Shield, and it's like, oh, I need Bulbasaurs for filling in because I only have Venusaur in there. So I pull Venusaur down, and it's like I make 2 eggs with Venusaur. I put Venusaur back in the box. I switch it out. So I have 2 eggs for Bulbasaur. I hatch the first one. It's all good. I hatch the second one. It's a shiny Bulbasaur, and it's like, oh man, this is really cool. Like it wasn't even Masuda. It was just base shiny charm. But I was like, man, this is really cool. But now I have to go and replace the Pokemon in the Pokemon's daycare with Venusaur again, get another Bulbasaur egg. Like, it was a shiny that I'm glad to have gotten the shiny, but it was just very unfortunate timing for it. But again, it's one of those fun little stories. So yeah. All right, next up we have raid event shinies. So we have Wailord, just from a raid event. We have Bulbasaur and an Ivysaur from raid event, and Wooloo from the raid event. Not much to say about these. It's just the raid events where you get the shinies. I guess I also have the 6 shiny Alchemy which I showed off in the Dex's video, kind of. We can go and actually hit those up at some point. Maybe do that at the end if I remember. Actually, you know what? Let's just do that now. Yeah, I'm doing this very candidly, this video. So here's the one I bred. I got this one in like 53 eggs or something. It was 50 something, I believe. And then the rest were just raid event. Yeah. Not much to say about those. It's just I wanted to get all 7 for the... just to have them as like different kind of like swirls. Alright. We were here. So those are all my raid event shinies. Here are my Dynamax Adventure non-legendary shinies. We've got a Lycanroc, a Tangela, a Clefable, and Torkoal. So Torkoal, Tangela, and Lycanroc, those were the 1 in 100 odds. Because you can't just drop a living dex into Sword and Shield to fully complete the dex, you have to like put them in and out of the daycare or something just to have them register in the dex. I never bothered getting the shiny charm on Shield. So this was a 1 in 300 odds shiny Clefairy I got. Clefairy, Clefable, I don't remember if I evolved it or not, but like it's a full Dynamax Adventure odds shiny I got. Well, just like getting all the legendaries, because I caught all the legendaries in Shield and I want to shiny hunt all the legendaries in Sword. But I caught them all in Shield so I could fill in the legendaries in the living dex. And this just, I think this was on the Rayquaza path. So it was like, man, if only that was the Rayquaza, that would have been really cool. But that's really weird that I remember that. But I guess that's what this video is about. So yeah, all of these. This is a Durant from my friend, Modest Furret. I was helping her out with something, and she's like, hey, this is just like payment or whatever. And I was like, you sure? And she's like, yeah. And so I have this shiny Durant from her. It's nice. It's one of those things where it's like, I didn't get the shiny, but like it's sentimental value, right? A friend gave it to me, and it's like, I think Durant's a funny meme Pokemon, so it's like, all right, I think she got this hunting for Sandaconda, Silicobra, whatever the first stage one is, in the desert area of Sword and Shield. All right, next up we have Legends, or not Legends, Let's Go shinies. So this Rhyhorn, I was grinding XP in the top of Cerulean Cave, just getting ready to like, I forget why I was level grinding. I was level grinding for something, maybe evolving Pokemon or something, and this guy just popped up, just randomly. And so, like, I wasn't chaining him or anything, and he just popped out. I was like, oh hey, that guy looks different. And so this was my first Let's Go shiny, I believe. Obligatory shiny Chansey. They're everywhere. Always the fear of shiny Chanseys in Let's Go. So this was my first one, I believe. Yeah. Next up is Charizard. So back before we knew the actual proper shiny hunting method in Let's Go, it was all just like getting to 31 and just sitting there. So I think I was shiny hunting Vulpix, and this Charizard ended up showing up in the sky. And so I was like, I'll take that. And then I ended up resetting my chain to go for shiny Vulpix. And so I do have shiny Vulpix as well. And then I saw the chain from that. And so I was like, you know what? Let's just go get an easy shiny from this. Because again, we thought the chaining worked. Ended up getting a Caterpie from the forest. Because I was like, you know what? The forest is quick and easy. I can finish it off here. Got a shiny Caterpie. I'm pretty fond of it. I like shiny Caterpie. And then like a while later, as you can see by the time here, right? While later, I was like, you know what? Let's just shiny hunt a Krabby. I wanted a shiny Krabby for some reason. And then once I got the shiny Krabby, I was like, hey, let's actually go to the power plant. Maybe get a cool like electric shiny. And Chansey spawned. But like knowing now that like most of these were just like waiting for full odd spawns. Or at least shiny charm full odd spawns. Yeah, I could have just kept waiting. But yeah. That's my second shiny Chansey. It exists. I might pop it into one of the other games, evolve into Blissey. Might as well. Alright. Next up is Mew. Shiny Mew, this is from Pokemon GO. I paid the $25, $30, whatever it was for the pass. Spent a lot of time grinding to level 40 for this. So even though it's like I didn't have to shiny hunt it, I had to put a lot of time, effort, sweat, tears, blood into actually having to play Pokemon Go, which is kind of stinky. But here it is. I bought the tickets just so I can get the shiny Mew, a legit one. I have the ticket purchased for shiny Jirachi. I've barely done anything of it because I'm really burnt out on Go after shiny Mew. Because I only got shiny Mew. Yeah, see, 7/30, 2022. That is less than a year ago I got this, and shiny Jirachi came out between then and now. So I'm a bit burnt out on Go. But no, it's just like I wanted the shiny Mew, and then like I was always like leaving it in Go for a while. Like my goal was always to move it to home, but I never ended up actually doing so. But here it is. I do have a video I'm gonna impose in of just going over all of my Go shinies. I don't really count most of my Go shinies as like special. I do have a shiny Deoxys in Go that I'm gonna have to transfer over. Just waiting for the transporter to recharge. And then I have like one super special shiny in Go, and that is my shiny Blastoise with sunglasses. That was my very first shiny in Go, and it's my buddy. It's the one I always chilling with me. It's the one I always Mega Evolve. I do a lot with this shiny sunglasses Blastoise. However, I'm always deeply saddened to know like I'm never going to be able to transfer this guy out because he has sunglasses. He is permanently stuck in Go, and he is genuinely one of my favorite Pokemon I have just because he's special. Like they did that small rerun of Sunglasses Squirtle, but for a long time he was like a pretty exclusive Pokemon, one that not a lot of people had, and it was shiny sunglasses. I'm going like if I don't get a way to transfer him out before Go closes down, I'm really gonna miss this guy. He is my like my Pikachu. Like him, that shiny sunglasses Blastoise is to me what Pikachu is to Ash in the anime for like my Go playing. He's the one who's always there. He's the one I'm always powering up whenever I can. So yeah, it's just a shame I can't transfer him over. Anyways, now that we're done with like the Go, here's shiny Necrozma. I shiny hunted this one in Sword in the Dynamax Adventures. The reason I shiny hunted Necrozma first is that you have to catch Necrozma to unlock the Ultra Beast. So it's like I'm going to get Necrozma just out of the way because I'm not fond on Necrozma. It's like a whatever Pokemon with whatever shiny. But it is locking the way, so I got it, and then I continued hunting. I couldn't find anything for a while, and I'd taken a break, and I've fallen off from it. I have to get back to it. I might stream some of it. I do want to get every single shiny from Dynamax Adventures of the legendaries. I just think it's a fun goal to get, and that's part of the reason why I was so hyped with getting Mew, is because it's like it leads into like shiny mythicals as well. Just getting all the shiny legendaries. So yeah, I got this one in like 24 dens, like through adventures, which isn't too bad. It's the only legendary I gotten from it. This one was a dreaded double shiny. I had to choose between this and a shiny Lopunny. If I can find a video, I took a video of it. If I can find it, I'll bring it up. If not, it's whatever. So yeah, of course I took the legendary because it's a legendary. But yeah, it's like it sucks that I finally got the legendary and it's a double shiny. Next up is just Meltan and Melmetal, both from Go. One came through Let's Go, one didn't. So if we back out, one has the Go stamp, and it's just, whenever Go's like, hey, you can get shiny Meltan again, it's like, okay, whatever. All right, moving on. These are newer games-ish. Check summary. So right now, these are my Gen 9 shinies. So this is my first Gen 9 shiny. I was going through completing the Pokedex. I was up on the Snowy Mountain, and I turned a corner, and this blue Psyduck was just sitting there. I was kind of bummed out because I've seen a lot of people getting shinies. Like, man, I haven't seen a single shiny yet. And then I finally found this guy, so I was pretty hyped about it. Yeah, my first shiny. And then when I was in Area Zero after beating the game, I was just running around and I saw this in like a horde of normal Jumpluff, and I'm like, wait a minute. And so that was a fun little one. And those were my only two shinies for a while. And then, yeah, about a month later, I found Skiddo. I forget what I was doing, but like Skiddo seems like the obligatory Gen 9 shiny. Almost everybody has a shiny Skiddo, basically. It exists. It's whatever. It's a Skiddo. It's back. It hasn't been around for a while. This is Relor. I think I was still completing the decks. No, 12, 19. I wouldn't have been still completing the deck. What have I been doing? I've been doing something. Yeah, That's not deck completion, is it? Yeah, no, it would not have taken me almost a month to get dex completion. I was doing something to, maybe I was looking for forms or something. Gosh, I genuinely don't know what I was doing. I was doing something, and I came across this Revler, and which is hype. It's a nice shiny. It looks way better in Gen 9 than it does home, because all Pokemon now look worse in home because they're like the old texture styles. But yeah, I like it. The golden poop ball. Next up is Binya Binya. That name is a reference to the tadpole guy from Gullah Gullah Island. It's a show I watched as a child a lot. This is the only Pokemon I have shiny hunted for in Gen 9. I did the sandwiches and I looked for it, and it took like a few sandwiches to find it. So when what is his name? Bellybolt. When Bellybolt was first revealed, I was like, that I want its shiny colors to be Binya Binya colored, and like the day it was announced or whatever, and then like it came out, and when I saw this upon release or whatever, like the shiny colors, I was like, oh, I called it. This is exactly what I wanted, so I knew I had to shiny hunt it, and so it's a bit special for me. I caught it in a premier ball. I usually catch my shinies in Pokeballs, so you may have noticed. Oops, spoilers. So yeah, this is the only Pokemon I've shiny hunted for in Gen 9. I'm not too fond of replaying Gen 9. I liked playing through the story, but after that, it's not much fun to me. I've just been like doing other games. But yeah, really happy to have finally gotten this guy. It's like the Gen 9 shiny I wanted the most, basically. Here we have Toxtricity. Toxtricity is one of my favorite Pokemon from Gen 8. It was probably my favorite Gen 8 Pokemon until Hisuian Decidueye came out, but I hate it shiny. I absolutely hate these shiny colors, and I prefer the other form. So what happened was I was going around working on the partner mark for my Ribbon Master Gardevoir, which I showed off in the Dexys video. And this guy was just standing there, and he just kept eyeballing me. I have some like funny shots I took of it, but like I wasn't excited to find the shiny. It was just like, oh, shiny Toxtricity. Like, I love Toxtricity as a Pokemon. I really don't like the shiny, but what can we do? Not much. Yeah. So shiny Toxtricity is here. It exists, I guess. What is next? Shiny Honchkrow. All right, big pimp in here. I found this at the beginning of my Violet playthrough. So I had this Honchkrow on my Violet team the whole game, and then like I ended up just like switching out Pokemon for like higher level Pokemon that spawn around the map. And this was the only one I kept in my team from like my original proper team when I did the champion battle, because I was at a point where I just wanted to get Violet done with. So yeah, like my starter didn't even get the ribbon, but like this this Honchkrow has it, and then I traded it over just because like, yeah, let's just move this to somewhere like special safe, not just on Violet. And yeah, it was fun having a shiny on the team. It always is, and it was cool just because it popped up randomly. That's really much I have about to say. Big pimpin'. It's sat in my Scarlet box since I traded everything over for completing the Pokedex. So, this is Ivan Ooze. That is a Power Rangers the movie reference. Anyways, this is my shiny Gastrodon. I had a team planned out when I was playing through Brilliant Diamond, and while grinding evolution stones with pickup, I found a shiny Shellos. And so it's like, oh, I found a shiny. My personal rule is if you find a shiny during a playthrough, and it's like early on enough that you can replace like a member. Like I replaced my Alakazam with a shiny Shellos. So I was like, yeah, I'll use Shellos again. I love Shellos and Gastrodon. I prefer EC over Westy, but you know, this one really works with the Ivan Ooze name. So it's like, yeah, you know what, let's do it. And so Ivan here, despite being female, one of my favorite Pokemons from that run. It was just cool. I wasn't expecting it. I was just grinding for evolution stones with pickup, so I didn't have to wait forever to use a non-shiny Honchkrow named Big Pimpin'. Big Pimpin's like my playthrough Honchkrow name. I don't know exactly why I settled on it, but I just like it. But yeah, I was looking for an evolution stone for that Murkrow, and I came across this fella, which, you know what, let's go for it. Yeah, I've been pretty lucky with playthrough shinies in the last few generations. Next up is Rubber Ducky the Surfetched. So when Island Armor came out, there's a lot of like the grinding for watts to unlock everything in the dojo. And the final one is like you need to grind like you need 3 million watts in total or whatever to get the secret card from Honey. And I decided I wanted to grind that out. And I had a system for grinding it all out just between like farming raids and then using the rewards from raids to go to the digging bros. And then the digging bros give you more rewards, and then like you can use the rewards from that to buy more ore pieces or wishing stars to spawn more raids. And I just grinded the fighting raid den out front of the dojo for the most part, and I came across a shiny Surfetched raid. So like basically, I knew this one wasn't cheated or anything because I was playing offline by myself, spawning my own raids. I was scared of like missing it because you only get one shot for catching raids. That's why I used an Ultra Ball. But this one I think has 4 perfect IVs. The other 2 aren't bad. Hidden ability. I think. I guess the nature's not the greatest, but I can mint it, I guess. Unless it's already, it might be minted actually. I don't know how that works with home, but this is a Pokemon. I was like, you know what? I do most raids with this Surfetch. The Surfetch and my Urshifu. They're like the dream team for doing raids in Sword and Shield, which like I wish the raids in Scarlet Violet were more like the max raid battles, but what can we do? But yeah, really fond of this guy. Next up, we have Legends Arceus shinies. So I saw a lot of people getting early on shinies, like shiny Starlies and all that, like early on in the game. I didn't get this until I was catching a Namarus, and Namarus was one of the last things I had to do before I could like finish the post game. So this guy took a while to show up. But my first shiny in Legends Arceus was a Stunky, and it's like okay, I just noticed it while like middle battle with Enamoris, and so I caught it, and it's like, all right, my first shiny, I guess. So of course it was random. Next up, we have the shiny Togepi. I hunted for this one back with the old method that they ended up patching out when they released massive mass outbreaks. God, what a confusing naming convention. But I shiny hunted this one. I don't know why. It just like showed up, and I was like, you know what, that could be a fun one to shiny hunt. So I did. I have it. You may notice a trend. I have a lot of shinies, like especially nowadays, where I get a shiny and I just don't touch it or anything. I just leave it. I shiny hunted Turtwig because Turtwig is one of my favorite Pokemon. Top 20 probably. The evolution line is one of my favorite starters of all time. It's always hard talking about that because like Squirtle is my all-time favorite Pokemon, so like it automatically wins my favorite starter by default. But it's one of my favorites. It's up there. So it's like I had a chance to hunt shiny Turtwig. I was like, yeah, I'll hunt shiny Turtwig. And then next up is shiny Shinx. There's an outbreak for it, and it's like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's hunt shiny Shinx. So I got shiny Shinx. Psyduck. I think after the shiny Shinx outbreak, I was going around and there was a Psyduck outbreak, and I was like, you know what? Let's see what it's like. Let's see what the area is like for shiny Psyduck, to see if I want to go through and do the resets for it. And shiny Psyduck was just sitting there at the start of the, so I didn't even have to like go through the entire outbreak. I just caught Psyduck and moved along, and that was just fun. Yeah, I have a few duplicate shinies at this point, which is unfortunate just because I only have like, I think I counted the shiny boxes I have here, not counting my Alcremie, are 92. I guess if we plus the 7 shiny Alcremie, I have 99 shinies in home. Maybe. Possibly. I might be wrong. But I think 99 shinies. So yeah. Psyduck. Bunnery. There was an outbreak for Bunnery, and it's like, you know what? I want to reclaim my shiny Lopunny I lost with that Dynamax adventure. And so, here it is. It was a bit of a pain to hunt, but I got it. And, you know, again, it's like I'm not doing much with it. Shiny Shinx, I was flying over. I was like doing Eevee outbreaks or something. And I was like getting tired of Eevee outbreaks. And during one of my things, I flew over and there was a shiny Shinx just sitting on the ground. And it's like, all right, I'll catch the shiny Shinx. And I think that ruined me for not being able to finish the Eevee outbreak, but I was getting bored of it anyways. And I didn't even know what I would evolve the Eevee into. So I was like, I'll take a second shiny Shinx. Shiny Riolu, this one tested me. So I spent a lot of time on this outbreaks resetting for shiny Riolu here. I had a thing where it's like, yellow shinies, those are pretty pop. So I was working on it, and I did a lot of it. At the time when BDSP and Legends Arceus came out, I was working night shift at a homeless shelter. And so I had a lot of downtime, and like even my bosses were just like, "Hey, just like watch movies or something, just pass the time, just get all your like actual work done, and just like pass the time, whatever." So I spent a lot of time shiny hunting at work, and this was the product of one of them, I believe. But it took a lot of time, and it's like the reset for it wasn't like super good. I had to climb over the mountain in the Icelands, but I got it eventually. Next up is Drifloon. I hunted for Drifloon. This one was relatively quick, I think. I'm not too sure, but again, yellow shiny. It's like yellow shinies are hype. Let's do it. Zorua tested me a bit. It took me a bit for Zorua. Again, like looking at the days here though. Like these were just nights at work where I was grinding away at them. I don't know. It's like this was like a really cool one. This is my first like Hisuian form, like first Pokemon like exclusive to Legends Arceus at the time, shiny. And I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. I have the chance. Let's do it. It's probably a pretty good shiny, which it is. I prefer shiny Hisuian Zorua over shiny Hisuian Zoroark, so I never really evolved it. I like the blue more than the purple. But yeah, like I really dig the shiny, so I'm glad I got it. Next up is my unintentional reclaim of shiny Geodude. When massive mass outbreaks came out, you had that thing when you first like start the quest where you had to go and like deal with a whole bunch of like outbreaks during a massive mass outbreak. And in one of them, I found a shiny Geodude, and I thought it was pretty cool that I reclaimed my shiny Geodude, my very first shiny ever, in the past version of Sinnoh, where my first shiny was, in a way, you could say, the past version of Sinnoh also. So like it was something I planned to reclaim at some point, like maybe in Shining Pearl or something. But you know what? I was like, this counts. It's technically Sinnoh, and I wasn't grinding for it. It just happened randomly, which I think is the perfect way for it to happen. And I'm glad. Glad I finally got the shiny Geodude after all these years. And then I got a second shiny Drifloon also like shortly after the Geodude. I was like, okay, I'll evolve one eventually, and I never ended up doing it. But here's shiny Drifloon. It's just still sitting here. Next up is shiny Chingling. So I was at one point before Scarlet Violet came out, I was like, I really want a shiny Alpha. I really want a shiny Alpha. So I set myself up to reset for the shiny Rhyperior. That was Alpha in the mountains. And I failed a Chimecho and 2 shiny Chinglings before catching this one. Because I was like, I didn't want to mess up my resets or whatever. But like, I was like, oh, I'll see them. If I can catch them, I catch them. But the Chimecho and the 2 other Chinglings ran away. And so I did fail 3 shinies, but I did end up finally getting the Chingling. And as I took it as a sign to like just stop with Rhyperior. Next up is also still hunting for my shiny Alpha. I found a massive mass outbreak that had Dartrix as one of the outbreaks. And I was like, you know what? I really, really love Hisuian Decidueye, and I know the shiny is the colors of normal Decidueye. I want it. So I hunted for it, and he's actually quite a short king. He's a pretty short one, but like that's cool. So I hunted for it, and it's like it felt nice to finally get a shiny starter in the game. And I love my owl Pokemon, and it's so cool. And it's so cool. I put him level 100. He's like my main attacker for like shiny hunting and stuff. It's so cool. And then just gliding around. Like I just started the day, right? So like I ended off the day here with doing the shiny Dartrix, and it's like, all right, tomorrow I'll go back. And I was just doing the glide around, just checking every spawn to see if anyone popped in. My first or second pass through, I found the shiny Alpha Gligar static as a shiny. And it's like, oh, that was easy. And then I evolved it to Gliscor because it has yellow on it, and like my shiny Legends Arceus collection is mostly yellow, and it's like, you know what, let's go for it. Yellow Alpha shiny, and so this was my final shiny so far in Legends Arceus, and I'm really glad. I'm really happy with him. He's so good. He just looks so good. I wish he was in Scarlet Violet, but maybe the DLC. Maybe the DLC. All right, that's it with this box. I just realized 45 minutes. Wow, this is going by pretty fast. Now we just have event shinies. the shiny Galarian birds from the events, the shiny dogs from the event, shiny Eternatus, 3 different shiny Celebies from the Celebi and Root event, Zero Aura from the home event. So that's all like my Gen 8 shiny events. And these are my old ones, basically. I guess Toxtricity isn't old. But these 3 are just my non-one. This is Gen 6 Halloween shiny Gengar event. This was Amoonguss. That was just like a competitive giveaway, I think. Toxtricity. It's cool that the random one I found was the opposite form of this, so I have both. But like, again, it's Toxtricity shiny. I don't really care. This is the Oras shiny Rayquaza event. This is the Gen 7 shiny Tapu Koko event. This is the Gen 7 shiny Silvally Code event. This is the Play 2016 shiny Mewtwo event. I got every single one of those event Pokemon except for Cynthia's Garchomp, which is one of the ones I wanted the most because Global Link didn't update properly. So I actually had to trade for it. I do have one, but it's not like my own claim. But I have all of those giveaways they were doing for a while there in Gen 6. And so I wasn't going to bring this guy up, but I brought it up just so I could have it in Gen 9 just chilling with Mew. And then shiny event, Yveltal and Xerneas. Fuck. My brain's going. I've been talking about Pokemon for 46 minutes. Yeah. And those are my event shinies. These are just the ones I brought up, just like add to collection, I guess. But other than that, that's basically all my shiny Pokemon. Again, I have a few event shiny Pokemon chilling in like older games or whatever, but I don't care about these. Like all the shinies I care about are in these boxes. And it's just fun reminiscing about all these stories, about how I like the ones I hunted for and the ones I found randomly, and how all of them like come together. And God, I just like Pokemon. You may be able to tell. It might be a bit tough, but like deep down, I do really like Pokemon. Anyways, yeah, that is those are my starters. Those are my shinies, and I wouldn't have it any other way. If you made it all this way, I want to thank you all for watching. Please, if you could, leave a like, comment, a subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And I'll see y'all next time. Maybe talking more about Pokemon. I don't know. We'll see how the flow goes. I like to keep it a bit loosey-goosey here. Anyways, well, that's about it. I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have yourselves a goddamn good one.